I think this is about as close as you can get to a masterpiece in song form. Here, there, and everywhere. I was thinking about this. It's a bit like a kind of a glass cut diamond, where every angle you look at it from, it's kind of perfect, and there's light shining kind of in symmetry back at you. It's just this most beautifully cut diamond of a song. Okay, let's start with the introduction. Just the introduction alone itself is an extraordinary thing, especially at this time, the kind of other things people were writing. This is 1966, and to start a song with this quite musical theatre-esque. Paul McCartney talks about that he was sort of thinking of Cole Porter, the way Cole Porter would just start with a little introduction that wasn't really related to the song, but just it hooks you straight in. To lead a better life. Okay. Third chord in. We've done a crazy modulation down to a B flat. And also the melody, arpeggio, straight off the bat. It's really an extraordinary opening melody of a song. To lead a better life, I need my love to be here. Now that note there, it's an A minor 7 chord, but he's actually singing the D, so the 11th, right? Amazing. Then we go to this beautiful rising 1, 2, 3, 4 chord rising progression, which is beautiful. Here, now the lyrics, of course, I think when Paul McCartney talks about challenging himself to write each verse with, he'd come up with this phrase here, there, and everywhere, and each verse he wanted to start, if possible, with one of these adverbs. Here, making each day of the years, changing my life with a wave of her hand. How has he made that sound so effortless? I don't know, because he's going from a C major to an F sharp minor, really not related at all. Here, when you play it just out of context, it's quite a big lift. Now here's the power of dominant chords though, right? Because as long as you then make that shift a dominant chord, which he does, F sharp minor to a B7, if for instance you'd just gone to a different chord, that it's not going to feel quite as right. Or if you go just sort of kept stuck a chord that fits with F sharp minor, but it has to be a dominant shift for the ear to go, okay, I'll let you off. I'll let you get away with that chord as long as you go to the dominant chord. Nobody can deny that there's something there. Lovely little turnaround to get the dominant to get us back to G major, and there. Finish the last phrase. Nobody can deny that there's something there, here, there, and everywhere. Oh, fantastic. Running my hands through her hair, both of us thinking how good it could be. There's that dominant move there. Someone is speaking, but she doesn't know he's there. Okay, look at this shift. Remember at the beginning we had this B flat. Well, that was like a little nugget, a little kind of premonition of what you're going to get later on the song, because it's now going to modulate effectively into a B flat. So we've just gone there. I want her everywhere. First time we hear everywhere in the song. So we've gone D, F used to modulate to the B flat. Everywhere, and if she where are we going here? Everywhere. See, it's so confusing, I'm getting lost. Everywhere, and if she's beside me, I know I need never care. So G minor, we're in the B flat key, so that's related. But to love her, D7 used as the linchpin key chord to get us back to everywhere. Of course, so you've really felt this middle section, the modulation. Everywhere feels quite G minor-y. So then when we have the lift, this kind of major lift here. Everywhere, knowing that love is to share, each one believing that love never dies, watching her eyes and hoping I'm always there. Again, always starts. He tries to start or end with here, there, or everywhere. This perfectly constructed piece of songwriting, just awesome. That repeats, and then of course he finishes, I will be there and everywhere, here, there, and everywhere. So we hear the title of the song finally at the end. We've heard this chord sequence loads, and yet somehow at the end, because we've been on a journey, it feels fresh, it feels new, it feels like kind of, morning dew on a lawn. It's totally fresh, and you're walking through for the first time, even though it's those same chord progressions. I pulled out my Paul McCartney lyrics book, which is amazing, by the way, if you're a fan. He just gives these really interesting insights. And he says about this song, he says, first of all, he thinks it's his own favourite song. It's kind of very inspired by Pet Sounds and God Only Knows, which is his favourite song of another person, of Brian Wilson's. And he says about that ending, he says, what I like about this song is that we think we're on a path on the moors and we're going for a walk, and then suddenly we've arrived where we started. It's not quite that we've gone around in a circle. It's more magical than that. We've come to another beginning of the path. You can see back to where you came from, and you're definitely not there. You're in a new place, though it's got the same scenery. I've always liked that trick. What more can you say? It's the whole song feels circular, but as he says, by the end, you've gone on a journey, and the same chord progression feels different, feels somehow new. I think it's a perfect song, and even I've read that John Lennon said it was one of his favourite Beatles songs, and he didn't even write it. And I think, when you've got John Lennon saying that about your song, who's obviously one of the greatest songwriters of all time as well, you're onto something pretty special. So there we go. I could have loved to have just played that without talking over the top of it, because even I think that show would have shown it off just as much as me unpicking it there. But I hope you enjoyed that. If you did enjoy that, I've got a series called Learn from the Masters, which I've started, and the first series is all about Paul McCartney. So head to the link in my bio, and if you go through there, you'll find a link to where you can subscribe and watch that whole series. And I go really in depth into a lot of Paul McCartney songs, because of course he's one of the best songwriters of all time. See you at the next video. Really keep those suggestions coming. I'm really enjoying looking through them, and I will get on top of some of those very soon. See ya!